Hi, this is Lorena, and I wanted to do kind of like a little, on this video, I'm gonna show you a quilt that I've been working on forever. I know you've seen it on my channel before, but today is like a tribute to the quilt. What I wanted to share, I want to honor her, the quilt, because she's given me a lot. I've gotten a lot from her. And, you know, when I first started this quilt, when I got the quilt from my friend Melanie, I saw it on her blog and I begged her if I could quilt it. Now this quilt at the time, I think it was 110 by 110. And when I asked her to take it, I really didn't think about the work involved or the investment that I was going to place on this quilt. And when I got the quilt, I started quilting on it a little bit, and because the quilt on the white fabric has that weird painting on it, that weird, it's painted somehow, that when the needle would pierce the fabric, you could see a lot of puncturing on the fabric, and I got really discouraged with that, and I told my friend that I'm going to end stitch what I quilted, and I'm going to go ahead and give it back to her. And I love my friend Melanie. She told me, no, she says this, I've seen your work, you do beautiful work, that you're going to do something really pretty. And at the time I was really discouraged. I remember I was enrolling at A&M University here in San Antonio. I was in the process of getting enrolled so I could start over there. And so she didn't take the quilt back. She says, you take it, you keep it as long as you want. I know you're going to do something. And I really thank her for that confidence that she had in me, because at the time I didn't have it. But what I love about this process, my friend Melanie never asked me about the quilt. She never harassed me in any way. She just let me take as much time as I wanted. And it's been 3 years, guys. So I've had this quilt for a long time. And I'm really thankful that she gave me the time. Because when I first got the quilt, the first 4 months, I just had it sitting around. The quilt has stars and pinwheels everywhere. It doesn't have a lot of open space. It was really hard to figure out how to design it or what to do. And I remember one time I started quilting. I divided the quilt by 4, and I marked the center area, and I marked all areas on the 4 sections, just the center area. And I quilted the center, and that's when I found out about the white fabric having the painting on it. And I was getting really discouraged, and I was going to unstitch it and give it back to my friend. But after she told me to keep it, I had it laying around again, and I was praying about what to do with it. And what's really neat, it's one time I had the quilt laying over the long arm, and I would pass back and forth to my laundry room. And then one day, boom, I had an idea. Isn't that crazy? One day the quilt almost, well, I think it's the Holy Spirit, the quilt talked to me. It kind of gave me, like, this is what you could do. This is what would work. And so some of you want to design on quilts and you don't know what to do. I really do recommend laying the quilt out somewhere where it's open, where it's visible, in a place that you walk back and forth. Also a place where there's a lot of shadowing in the room. I've noticed different lighting in your house can change the way the quilt looks. So where I have my long arm, the light pierces in. When the sun is setting, the light pierces in, and I would walk in the room and I would have the lights off, but you could see the light shimmering on top of the quilt. And for some reason, you know, the different lighting gave me kind of like different ways of seeing the quilt, and that really helped me in designing. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I really do believe that quilts in different lighting, when it's real bright, it looks different. When there's shadows, it looks different. When the light is hitting it, but it's not all the way on it to where it gives some light and depth to it. It really does help you in making decisions. And once the quilt kind of spoke to me, I really believe it's the Holy Spirit. I did a tutorial on how to mark a large quilt, and I laid it on the floor, and I started marking it with a water-soluble pen. I had a lot of pens too. The things I've learned from this quilt are, to me, really special. I learned what marking tools I liked. I learned what kind of rulers I liked. I learned how to stitch in the ditch because in this quilt it had so many stars and pinwheels. I need to learn how to stitch in the ditch. And I stitched in the ditch first before I started even quilting it. So when I was marking the quilt and putting the design on it, I had everything stitched in the ditch. Mostly everything stitched in the ditch. So it's really been I don't want to be mushy or anything, but this quilt has been a quilt that has given me the most education. It's given me the most training. There's been times when I saw this quilt after I quilted it that I was like, oh, what the hell am I thinking taking this on? What did I have in my brain that I said, yeah, can I borrow your quilt and quilt it for you? What was I thinking? But then when I would quilt it, and when we're quilting on the long arm or when you're quilting on your domestic quilt, you're very close to the quilt and you see very distinctly all your mistakes. You see them. They're there. I think people who are very critical of their work are people who are very on top of it. Their eyes are on it. They're very close to it. They're very invested in it. But I feel that sometimes if you pull back a little bit and see the whole picture, you'll see the quilting is so different. I really am thankful that I never quit because there's some times I want to quit. I want to give up. This is sometimes, guys, when you're being creative. Remember, being creative is difficult because you're making something that no one else has seen, and it's easy to copy other people's work. It's easy to do what other people do, and that's why great long arm quilters, you know. Like Lisa Callie, she's one of my favorite long arm quilters, or Sharon Shamber. You know, we all want to strive to be these wonderful, beautiful, talented long armers, but the truth is, it's what we love about them is they bring something fresh and new to the table, and it's not easy. It's easy to copy someone else's skill, talent once you've seen them do it, but it's difficult to make your own. And I think what I'm really proud of is this is my own. This is something that I came up with. This is something that, I invested time into. And it's just different. It's mine. It's my style. Who would have thought? So I'm excited that I went here. If my friend Melanie would have taken back the quilt and let me quit, I would have never gotten here. So I just wanted to share that with you, that nothing's wrong with being creative and trying to be different, because people are going to fall in love with different. We all love new eye candy. We really do. We all love eye candy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some pictures of the quilt. I really do hope you like this tutorial. And if you're in the process of trying something new, and this is all you, nothing's wrong with doing all you. As a matter of fact, when you do you, we probably will love it. We'll love what you bring to the table. This is all mine. This is what I've done. This is what I've created. And I really do hope you like it. So I'll see you in a little bit, okay? So here you see me long arming, and I have the camera on top of my quilt, and this is what it looks like on the side view, as if you were watching me quilting. And this is what it looks like on my GoPro. I do have a GoPro connected to my long arm quilting machine, looking down towards the needle. And this is how you get this visual. Now let me say this, I do have um, the film speeded up. So this is not how fast I long arm. I long arm a lot slower. But I'm showing you what it looks like in different directions and how it looks like in different areas. And so I also love this little light. I got this at Lowe's for I think $17. It's a chargeable light. So you charge it and then you can use the light for a good 3 or 4 hours. And it really has helped me a lot because I've noticed with the matte thread, my thread is from
Essentials thread or connection thread, and the thread name is Essentials thread, and they have a long arm quilting line, and this thread is cheaper than cheap. It's only $7, and it quilts like um, this thread quilts beautiful. My long arm likes this thread. I also do have this thread on the bobbin, and I have my machine on stitch regulated. Usually I like stitching at 15 inches per stitch, and the reason I like stitching with that many stitches, a higher density of stitch, because I noticed the machine can do intricate work better. It moves better, it flows better, and I have it on stitch regulated. I do not do continuous quilting on my machine because having the needle going up and down drives me crazy. So I like the fact that when I move the machine, my needle moves. The needle's not moving unless I'm moving the machine, and that's why I like it on stitch regulated. And so here you see me in a different view quilting, and I do quilt with one hand with my micro handles, and initially, I used to use the pillow, but after a period of time, you will learn the control of the machine and you're not going to need that long arm pillow that I talked about. When I first started to do intricate work, I used that pillow because it created the drag I needed to be able to control the machine, but after a while, you're not going to need it. Now, here you see the quilt top. I love the shadowing of the tree over it in different directions, and you don't see my mistakes. I had a lot of mistakes in this quilt, but you don't see them. And so I just finished the center of this quilt. Oh my God, it's taking me forever. Hopefully on this camera you can see all this beautiful detail. It's completely done on the inside. You know the funny thing about quilting is you can work on something, and then when I was working on it, I thought I was just totally messing it all up and it looked ugly. But it's not the... I don't know if you can see my design. I think... When I was quilting it, sometimes I thought it was just totally messed up. And then when I step away from the quilting, I see how pretty it came out. Yeah, I just need to do the edges. I don't know what I'm going to do. If I decide to make little triangles or not. I think this is beautiful. Let me show you in different angles. If you like these kind of videos, let me know so I could do some more of them. I love long arm videos. They're the best. If you like this video, hit like. If you like, subscribe. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm just enjoying doing it.